What up, YouTube? It's your boy Zai. Anyway, early morning, didn't really get no sleep, you know what I mean? Gotta come right back to work, but you know, so is the nature of the beast. But anyways, man, yesterday I did a video. You already know what time it was, and you know, to be honest, like I said, I'm not gonna speak on certain individuals anymore because it's just not really worth it. But I will address the fact that there's a lot of sympathetic bleeding hearts over individuals that pretty much lived their life on the internet and felt like you know, most things were beyond them. You know, like people like to come at me and say you know, as far as like the way I act, like I think I'm hard and, you know, I'm cocky and all this other miscellaneous stuff because they're frustrated at the fact that I'm just one of those individuals that I just don't really care. Like I've always lived my life according to the way I wanted to live it. You know, I've always lived reckless. I've always lived life on the edge. I mean, hence the fact that, you know, being a black Panameño, whatever, for a Mexican gang, I knew there was going to be opposition. I've been facing opposition since juvenile hall and on, you know. So, you know, for people that don't really know me and they come on here and they, you know, they come with all this other, you know, rah-rah. I understand, man. I'm seasoned. I'm weathered. I've been through this. I've lived a life. And as much as people want to try to discredit that, you can't. Like you know, it's not even about prison politics or anything. It's just a simple fact to be me, walk the yards that I've walked, do what I've did, and still continue to be me is something not necessarily to be applauded, but you know, you tend to give kudos and accolades to people that you know, they lived a similar life but they didn't go through the shit, you know, are the things that, you know, me and a lot of individuals did. And I'm just gonna come on here, and I know people like to you know, break it up by race because they're upset at certain things, but let me just tell you, like, when it comes to like the whole black southerner thing, a lot of us, not all of us, because there's some new cats that they're on a different pace, so they don't hold tight to certain structures, but the ones that I really deal with are on the same page, and we our life you know, has been lived a certain way, and we've survived a lot of stuff that most people would not only cringe but run away from. We faced down opposition that could have been the end of us and happened to come out on top. Now, you know, there's been situations to where I've been incarcerated and had homies that were so solid that you know, they're partially the reason why I got up out of a lot of situations that I was in, as far as like, you know, getting out of jail and not catching extra time. I've had individuals that I can't name that, you know, that really put their life on the line and decided to, you know, basically go for me instead of, you know, me having to do certain things when I just did something else, you know what I mean? And you know, and I'm not gonna get into what I'm talking about, but it's just like you've had individuals that have spoke up for me when I didn't even know. See, they say the ones that speak positive outside of your presence are the real ones, not just the ones that speak positive within your presence. And I can name a lot of cats that were really about Zod, like really wanted to see me go home, really wanted me to stop being that idiot that I was in prison. Because for most of the time in prison, I was an idiot because I thought I was too hard. I started a lot of stuff, and I just was like one of those that live reckless. And you know, it's one thing that I was wild, and another thing was to prove a point that I was with who I was with, and there was nothing beyond that. And for those reasons, I chose to be even more extra out. And don't get me wrong, I was like, when I went to, you know, the cage, I was a lot more respectful because I see the way cats conducted themselves, and I didn't face the same opposition that I faced in the county jail. The county jail, a lot of reckless cats, you know, you had the Crips, you had the Bloods, you had fools that's really like turned up 24/7, and I had to face that down constantly because things would constantly keep cracking. but after a while of doing that, you know, you keep running into the same people. So when they see you, it's not even a personal thing. They know if something cracks, it is what it is. Like, I've had good dudes that I've known that it's like it's cracked off when we had to get busy, but it wasn't nothing personal. It's just like, hey, it gotta go down. Blacks is what it is, and it's just, you know, but we learned to accept it. Now, the whole thing with yesterday's video was just pointing out the fact that people on the internet that you know, were involved in certain things but chose to forego it. I mean, just give it up and felt like they no longer wanted to participate in certain things. Like, my whole thing was to point out the fact that if you choose to go that route, that it's smarter just to be quiet and stay in the shadows. You remember that one dude, the raging dropout? You know, no disrespect, I told him straight out, you know what I mean? And we're not even supposed to engage in, but I told him straight out, like, why would you come on here and expose yourself when dude had a union job and all other things? Like, go take care of your family, you're out of it. He got out in the county, like, I'm done. So it's like, why would you want to put yourself on blast knowing that there's gonna be headhunters out here that's gonna take you? Maybe a dirty to them, but you're still a trophy, and to remove you from the board is a lot of them, they live for that, you know. So when I criticize dudes that were no longer good and wanted to come on the internet and boast as if they were just that person, and then they, you know, they get got, there's no sympathy for me at all. Like, you know, there's cats that I know that have checked in because certain things and they just couldn't get around it, and there's no sympathy for them either. But I could see kind of like if they got God, I'm not gonna feel sorry for them, but I'm not gonna waste no time on nothing. But individuals that come at me and disrespect my family and say what they'll do, if I can't get you and you pass, I'm gonna be extremely elated. Some people see it as being morbid. Some people say I'm on demon time. I'm just me. Like, I don't feel sympathy for no gangster that has been out here on the streets. I don't even feel sorry for the ones that play gangster that get got, because at the end of the day, you chose to live that life. You chose to forego a regular life and get involved in things that involve violence, malice, and everything else up under the sun. Like, you chose this life, so folding on it and looking for a sympathetic shoulder to cry on, that's not Zod. It's never been me. And for the most part, I don't even like a lot of people anyway. I'm one of those that I'm cool, and I like to be pretty much by myself. Like, I get busy by myself. Like, if you see me at events, I don't go deep with my homeboys, and I choose to be by myself because it's a lot, you know, it can be detrimental because I could run into crowds of enemies and you know, but that's just life. But I feel like I can control the narrative a lot better in the scenario if it's just me. Because if it's just me, a lot of times I can get heads up, you know what I mean? And if they're gonna go further, they just go further. You can't prevent what has already been predestined to happen. But in most cases like that, when dudes do press me, which they don't, you know, I can get heads up, you know what I mean? And it'll stay right there. Now, the individual that lost his life, he chose to keep talking when he should have just been quiet. And there's a lot of dudes on the internet right now that are no good, and eventually, you know, they gonna get what's coming to them too. You can only hide for so long. Like, when cats talk on me, like, you know, you got these trolls that like to come on my channel, but at the end of the day, I'm out here 24/7. I just ran into a cat where I worked, and it's surprised because it's a really nice neighborhood, and I don't even think he expected to run into me. But I mean, usually you're gonna see what I got on, so it's like from that to my hat, like, I'm at work with this. So, you know, when I'm at work, I'm on my job, you know what I mean? And I try to keep it that way. But, you know, people run into me all the time. And if there's no animosity, I'm a humble person. If you come at me aggressive, I'm going to come aggressive back. I don't care where it's at. I'm going to get down where I get mad at. But for the most part, everybody I ran into have been normal. humble. Hey, you know, bam, you want to take pictures? They take pictures. So it hasn't really been no real issue. But eventually I'll run into fools that may feel like they want to get it. But on me, for, you know, even though I'm old, you know what I mean, I'm an old head, like, for my neighbor, I'm gonna get out for mine, like, because it's in me to be that person. People, like, you know, moms, girl, everybody try to tell me, like, hey, calm down, but that's just not, it's not in my nature to be docile. Like, I can be extremely volatile when I feel like somebody trying to press up on me or act like I just won't get off. Like, you know, that's just not me. But, you know, all I'm gonna say like this, dude, if you're sympathetic for certain cats that are now in spliffs and being smoked, and, you know, people live their life according to the way they want to live their life. So if you're living your life reckless and you die, you're just dead. And that's for trash, that's for gangster, that's for, I'm not sympathetic towards no gangbanger that dies, because it's a life that you chose. It's not like you're you know, a good citizen or a good Samaritan. No, you're a thug just like I am. You know, some people are weaker than others, but you're still would take advantage of somebody if you had the chance. You know what I mean? That's just the code. It's just what it is. You know, you don't join gangs to sit by unless you're just one of those type. But for the most part, you're looking for a name. You want people to know you. Same in jail. Like, fools would be like, hey, you know what? That fool's solid. And I've known a lot of solid fools, and fools that I know that I've been incarcerated know that I'm solid and that I'm about the homies, and I've always been that way. That's why to this day, you know, there's certain things that I'll be like, hell nah, I ain't messing with these fools. But that's just the way I see things. Doesn't mean it's going to change anything, but it's just, that's the way I see it. Now, I'm not on here explaining why I disrespect them, because at the end of the day, I'm a be who I am. My raps, I disrespect the dead. I don't care. You know, can't name the living, but we can tag the dead. It's like, you know, people will do with it what they want, but I will never be that type to feel sorry for nothing. Like, if you're op and you pass, I'ma celebrate you. Like, you know what I mean? If you're a righteous one, I'll just be like, whatever. But for the most part, if you're a weenie and we didn't get along, I'ma celebrate your death. And it's morbid as it is. It's life. It's universal. Because if I pass right now, people will celebrate mine. Like, some people would feel bad. Others would be like, yeah, that's what he gets. It's life. But I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? And that's why I push the way I push. And that's why I'm always out here with gear that says what I represent. Not even a gang thing, just representation. Everybody know where I'm from that's been paying attention to me, so ain't no need to press that. With that being said, man, if you're a troll, if you're one of these fools that supposedly don't like me, just go off the channel. You don't have to watch, because I'm going to continue to do what I do until I'm removed off the chessboard as well. But, you know, nobody knows when that's coming. But I'm going to still be Zod. Anyway, man, you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be back with other videos. I got to go to work. And I'm out. Code of Zod.